in terms of revenue, the games industry generates more than the film and music industries combined. And with its standing in cinema firmly established, it only made sense for Hamilton to start making big moves in the gaming world. Watches and video games are similar in many ways. Both are forms of art, requiring the highest levels of craftsmanship, dedication, and expertise. And one watch brand that very much understands this is Hamilton. Not only has Hamilton been creating distinctive, versatile watches for years, but it has also become a pioneer of integrating watches into other forms of media, including cinema and yes, even video games. In fact, to celebrate the launch of Death Stranding 2 on the Beach by Kojima Productions, Hamilton, Hideo Kojima, and Yoji Shinkawa joined forces to produce a limited edition Death Stranding 2 watch, modeled on the in-game timepiece worn by the character Neil Vayner. In this video, I'd like to take you on a journey. We are going to explore Hamilton's heritage across film and gaming, starting with its earliest silver screen debut and culminating in the brand's recent collaboration with Kojima Productions in Death Stranding 2. Let's get started. Hamilton is dubbed the watchmaker of filmmakers, and it's very easy to see why. The brand has a storied history in film and cinema, extending almost 90 years across over a mind-blowing 500 movies and TV shows. Yes, you heard that right, over 500, from independent films to the biggest Hollywood blockbusters. Hamilton's journey as the movie brand began as early as the 1930s, specifically in the 1932 classic Shanghai Express. British Captain Donald Harvey, played by English actor and film star Clive Brook, wore a vintage Hamilton watch featuring a hinged lid mechanism. When asked for the time by his former lover, Lily, played by Marlene Dietrich, Captain Harvey lifts the lid covering his watch, revealing a hidden photograph of Lily. It is quite fitting that this iconic scene marked Hamilton's cinematic debut, as from that point, the watch brand marched onwards to become Hollywood's top cinema watch choice, worn by some of the most well-known figures in film and even TV. If I were to sit here and list all of these examples, we would be here all day. So let me just mention a few. Let's look at one of Hamilton's most recognizable appearances in film, Men in Black. The primary attire for MIB agents were, of course, their iconic black suits, dress shirts, black ties, and black shoes. But the filmmakers had to ask themselves a question. How would a top-secret organization of alien hunters tell the time? Luckily, Hamilton had the answer: the Ventura. The sleek, futuristic design of the Ventura made for the perfect standard issue watch for all MIB agents, including Agent J and Agent K, played by Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones respectively. And these examples just barely scratch the surface of the many films that Hamilton watches have been present within. The Bolton Quartz in Indiana Jones, the Pulsar in Live and Let Die, the Khaki Field Murph in Interstellar, the Below Zero Auto Titanium in Tenet, the Khaki Field Auto in The Avengers, the Ventura Edge based on the prop Desert Watch in Dune Part 2, made in collaboration with prop master Doug Harlocker, and so on. Hamilton's watches have consistently bridged eras and genres in cinema. However, they certainly have not stopped there. Video gaming has become one of the most popular entertainment industries in the world. In fact, in terms of revenue, the games industry generates more than the film and music industries combined. And with its standing in cinema firmly established, it only made sense for Hamilton to start making big moves in the gaming world. And what was its first foray? Well, just a little-known video game franchise called Far Cry. Developed and published by Ubisoft, Far Cry is a series of first-person shooter games, which have sold tens upon tens of millions of copies worldwide. More or less, Far Cry games typically involve players rising up against despots reigning over a region. Enter the Hamilton Khaki Field Titanium Automatic. Hamilton took things one step further by producing a real-life limited edition run of the Far Cry 6 variation, featuring a unique colorway and even a stylized 6 on the dial as an homage to the game's logo. Not known for resting on its laurels, this gorgeous timepiece truly reinforces how seriously Hamilton takes these collaborations, and that could not be more true for the next one. Death Stranding is a series of action-adventure games developed by Kojima Productions, who of course are led by its visionary director, producer, and designer Hideo Kojima. I'm not going to spoil the events of either game for you, but as an overview, the games follow lead protagonist Sam Porter Bridges, played by Norman Reedus, in his journey as a courier to deliver equipment to colonies who became isolated following a calamitous event which caused dangerous, otherworldly creatures and enemies to roam the earth. The game blends emotional storytelling, exploration, and surreal visuals in this truly unique experience. So, earlier this year, Hamilton and Kojima Productions formally announced their brand new partnership, where they would both collaborate on design designing and producing a limited edition watch which would be worn by character Neil Vayner in Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Hideo Kojima explained how he's long known about Hamilton watches, dating back to film collaborations like Dune Part 2 and also Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey. The idea of collaborating with Hamilton on a watch had always been something floating around in Kojima's mind. So when he was approached a few years ago by Hamilton, it was like a match made in heaven. Time is a major theme in Death Stranding. As explained by Hideo Kojima himself, in both Death Stranding 1 and 2, there is a concept known as the beach, where time is frozen. In the rest of the world, time is moving, objects decay, people age, and life ends. But on the beach, time remains stopped, feeling almost like an afterlife. So when the character Neil is on the beach where time is suspended, for him, time is actually moving. This is why he is needing to constantly look at a watch. This emphasis on time is exactly why the collaboration with Hamilton was so important to Kojima. The same care that he and the team put into Death Stranding 2 and the concept of time itself needed to be reciprocated by whoever was tasked with helping design and produce the watch. Art director Yoji Shinkawa was heavily involved in the design of the Death Stranding 2 watch with Hamilton. The design started with a more futuristic, cool concept, and there was even an idea for the watch to be digital, perhaps echoing timepieces like the Hamilton American Classic PSR. However, they chose to stick with the analog watch concept for several reasons. Shinkawa explained that they wanted to aim for something that looked real within the present. Based on the sketches that Shinkawa designed, Hamilton would propose something new each time. This back and forth iterative process took place over the course of months. Ultimately, Kojima, Shinkawa, and Hamilton collectively decided to base the watch on the Hamilton Bolton. And this is how they landed on the final design of the American Classic Bolton Death Stranding 2 Limited Edition. The futuristic, Bolton-inspired timepiece reflects the techno-apocalyptic environment of the Death Stranding series. Design cues are seen in the sleek, arching lines of the titanium case with black PVD treatment. Combining durability with a rugged yet refined look, titanium reduces the case's weight by 45%, and it is highly resistant to saltwater corrosion. The case also features an open back, revealing the intricate automatic movement and, quite fittingly, the logo for Death Stranding 2 on the beach. This exquisite watch contains 7 sapphire crystals within a primary viewing window and 2 columns of 3 on each side of the case, all overlaid with a double anti-reflective coating for stunning light play. The lug is 20mm wide, housing a sleek black dial with minimalist gray indicators on the face and set off with a contrasting bold orange lacquered seconds hand and 12 o'clock index. The looped hour and minute hands reference the sapphire design and bring lightness to the face. The 3-hand automatic 25 joule movement features an 80-hour power reserve and a movement holder with a special tar finishing, while a Nivacron balance spring offers enhanced resistance to magnetic fields, changes in temperature, and shocks. The 3-rose black PVD titanium bracelet is completed with sandblasting and a butterfly clasp, embracing the game's futuristic spirit. And don't forget about that 5-bar water resistance. Now, it is worth mentioning, demand for the limited edition run of the watch was so high that upon release, it sold out almost immediately, speaking to how excited fans have been about the timepiece and also of the appreciation that they clearly have for its design. Given how well this Death Stranding 2 partnership was received, I do wonder what Hamilton is going to be setting its eyes on next. I hope you enjoyed this extended look into Hamilton's screen and video game heritage, particularly its recent collaboration with Kojima Productions on Death Stranding 2 on the beach. For more information on Hamilton's watches, visit hamiltonwatch.com and we will see you next time.